I got a. You want me to get a copy for you?
Yeah, if you would. There. Okay, okay.
I'll sit it right here.
Okay, thank you very
I
much.
think that was very courageous of Pope Benedict, realizing that his health was failing.
I got one for him.
No, I'm not from South Southern. Or maybe southern Wisconsin, if that counts. I'm from Fond du Lac. I love the sound of that. It means foot of the lake in French. Small world. Small world. I want to propose this to you. I'm not here to take over the world. I'm not thinking, well, maybe I am the brain. But I would like to propose that the readers, instead of sitting scattered in the main part of the body, maybe sit on the upper left front here. First of all, when you're coming up as a reader, the last thing you want to do is draw attention to yourself. You're here to read the word. So up the center aisle can be very distracting to the crowd. We always processed up when we were in the Catholic Church, but to come up from this part of the church, it's quicker. You're not drawing attention to yourself, and sometimes until you're up at this podium, you really don't want to draw attention to yourself. Another thing is coming up to the podium with a piece of paper. Seriously, we're reading the Word of God. That looks... Yeah.
But you can make it a much bigger font.
Yes, you can, but I have a solution. Former military person that I am. We're going to have something like this, either available that you can, you've been at home and did your homework and maybe your phrasing and things like that, and you come up with this. Make sure you clear the microphone and lay that down. It has more intentional look to it. Looks like more of an honor to it. If this is not sitting out there for whatever reason, and that happens, at least grab a Bible and put it in the Bible. And we're giving honor to the word that we're reading. And unfolding a piece of paper when you got a microphone on, you can hear it all over the place. Microphones, now I know sometimes the pastors start right here, but we were always taught, if we could, to adjust the microphone to your height before the service, so that you're not... So you can go right into the reading of the word. I think, deportment. Isn't that would be something the Sisters of St. Agnes would have said. Your deportment is not sufficient, but that is how we're approaching it. Preparation. I know sometimes you're tagged Sunday morning to read because maybe someone got sick, someone didn't show up for whatever reason, and you're coming to the reading of the day cold. As much as possible, just go off to a little corner somewhere, practice what you can practice. But if you've had the reading for a while, there are ways of giving the reading that are very, very meaningful. And I had to break myself of this, quite frankly, because again, when I was a very young lector, glancing up and seeing 600 people was pretty daunting. So I'd be down like this. You'd never see my eyes. I don't want to see your hairline. It's more meaningful if you're able to, with your preparation work and phraseology maybe written out for you to read here, is to glance at the crowd. Just pick a corner. Don't have to glance at a person. Just pick a corner. Making some sort of eye contact is very, very meaningful to the people. I'm going to leave it up to you. I'm not going to change your style. But trust me that it is something else to just, and then they're glancing up like they're making a point. Maybe it is at a point of the reading that is the key to that reading, and you glance up and look at everyone. And then, finish your reading. I'll leave it to you. Another feedback I received as a young lector, I had a chance to go like this many times because we did 3 readings in front of the crowd, and it's like, what are you doing? Or I'm shifting my feet because, the lectern we had was very small. So they could see every movement you're making. So, and if you're nervous, I always made it a point to grip the podium. As long as people in the front row don't necessarily see the white knuckles, at least you can't move this podium too easily. But it will channel your nervous energy, and then you're able to give a good reading, a good worship experience to everyone out there. In other words, you're not the center of attention. You are helping them just focus on the word. And those are the things I learned from 18 years old. I'm up to 50. So, any questions? I'll take feedback. I'm the easiest person because the whole part of this process here is we're going to have a constant feedback loop. If for your preparation, we're going to get the readings out to you as soon as we can. And if you want, we can shotgun it to the entire team just in case you're called on. If that would work for you.
I would love having it electronically. That would be great.
And those who don't have the electronic means, we'll leave the team lead, how to get them to them, or at least say what, verse. Oh, that was another thing I just caught recently. And I'm going, did they just change how we refer to this? Because someone called it section 4 of Paul, and it's like, I'm looking, is this an Army regulation?
I
And
always refer to the yellow Bible in the verse of the page, in case people bring it in.
yeah, you still will refer to it. Yellow Pew Bible to me is a little problematic, but I'm not here to cause a tsunami of change. But unless they're sitting in the pews, maybe the yellow Bible. The page reference is great, especially if this is the first time anybody's ever picked up a Bible. Oh, where do you find this? So that still should remain, but we'll keep playing with it to see if there's a better way of referencing it.
How are we going to know at an early point what the reading is going to be before we walk?
I guess that's my job as between Barbara and Pastor David is to keep pinging them to get it early as much as we can. We will get it to you. The second we know, it will come out to you in email.
So they'll send it out to the whole worship team that's on. so that
Just
way-
in case.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry. Are you finished with that? My biggest problem is always those words that are just impossible to pronounce.
Oh, you're the ones that either
You know,
have
no matter
derivation
how
in Greek and it's like,
you break it down, you get up there
There-
and you think you've practiced it and it's not going to come out right. Is there going to be, will there be some?
there are references or resources available on pronunciation. You can even go to Google and
And it'll help you out.
and then break it down phonetically that it does. I have a funny story when I was in the Episcopal Church. Notice that there's a tendency here, Catholic-like churches, but the rector was saying something about some impossible names in the reading that day, and he made a joke of it. What stuck in my brain just before I read was his joke, and it's like I cracked up in front of everyone. I just don't ever do that to someone, because the last thing you hear is what sticks in their brain. So that's what I would do, is write it out that you understand. Now, if you handed your notes to someone, they go, what? And phrasing and things like that, commas, periods, and things like that. Those are great pauses. Don't be overly dramatic. Just be yourself, but put the phrasing in there, put the emphasis like Pastor David did with that reading from the Bible. He put emphasis at certain places. I'd encourage you to practice that kind of emphasis.
I was reading once, and with the blue riser on the blue, I kind of forgot that there was a level.
I've done
and
that.
I just thundered down, kind of caught myself totally clumsy and loud and kind of embarrassing, but I lived through it. Remember the step.
That will teach you to remember. I did that too once. I wish I could say it's because the carpet was blue and it blended together. It was maroon, and then we had, of course, like a linoleum of some sort. So it's like there is an obvious difference here, and I just And that was there in the processional to the front, so the priest is looking behind. Trying to ignore the fact that I just almost face planted up on the front, so. Have any questions, you do have my
During
email.
the reading? Is it this bright? It is?
It's pretty bright.
You adjust to it.
Okay.